Welcome to the channel and welcome to the 911 GT2 RS. For those keen viewers, you may have noticed that of all the 32 some odd cars in the garage, the 911 is still the only Porsche in the entire collection. And there's one very important reason for that, but we'll get to that a little bit later. First, I want to talk about the reasons why the 2RS is a part of the collection. But first, can we take a second to appreciate the fact that I picked the very best day to drive an 800 wheel horsepower modified rear engine twin turbocharged rear wheel drive 911 GT2 on Cup 2R tires. I mean, look at this. Of all the days, I picked the best day to drive a car that is notorious for not being friendly at all. For the die-hard Porsche fans out there, you will recognize this as a 991.2 GT2 RS. Of course, that means this is at the very top of the 911 family. Effectively, that means this has a modified version of the 911 Turbo's engine, along with all of the track-oriented performance parts from the GT3, lumped into one extremely capable track-focused package. Now, of course, I'm not going to be able to push the car at all in conditions like this, but this is one of the best, most reliable, solid track cars money can buy, which is reason number one why this is a part of 458 Destroyer's collection. We actually took this car earlier this year to Import Alliance, taking turns driving it just session after session, and it just kept going. This car is incredible on track, and it really makes itself a reliable track day companion. In stock form, the 3.8 liter twin turbocharged flat 6 develops 700 horsepower and 550 foot-pounds of torque, sent through a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and of course the signature piece of the 2RS. Unlike the other turbos in the 911 family, this is rear-wheel drive only. Couple that with the Michelin Cup 2R tires, and this car is definitely a handful on days like today. Now, as typical, let's get the boring stuff out of the way first and take a look at the front trunk, because this car still is sort of usable. I don't know if you'd call it a daily usable, but it's definitely still usable. There still is a trunk up here at front. One cool fact about the 2RS is it has the vents in the hood, which of course leak water through, but these cooling ducts that run through the top of the hood come through here and through these vents here. But you still have a bit of a trunk space. You could put something here. Still better than the SF90. And let's take a look at the engine in the rear of the car, the 3.8 liter twin turbocharged flat 6. Nice. I'm actually surprised this is, I was literally expecting a little bit more than this, but whatever, track car. Now, as far as the interior goes, it's very standard Porsche. There's really not that much different between this and regular 911s. Again, aside from the fact that this is the Weissach RS. Stitching in the headrest, there's a ton of parts underneath the car that make up that, but inside, not a ton different. We do have harnesses for the track days, but normally I just use the regular seat belt. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it out on the road, and we're going to be extremely careful. Now, when I picked the car up yesterday, the weather was absolutely perfect, and I saw rain on the forecast for today, but I figured it would clear up by the afternoon. Well, clearly that's not the case. It's not gotten any better. So on the way back out to the garage to drop the car off, I'm gonna take things very, very, very easy. Because as you probably know, if you mix either the cold or the rain with a twin turbocharged rear wheel drive Porsche 911, it spells bad news. But if you mix both of those together, you really, really, really are asking for trouble. So I'm gonna take it very slow. But that's totally okay, because that gives me more time to explain why the 2RS has made its way into the collection when there aren't any other Porsches around. Now, 458 Destroyer still tracks the Ferraris. He has no problem with that at all, but there's just something good about having a car that you can get in that is just dedicated specifically for the use of track day thrashing. And the GT2 RS is about as close as you can get to a full-on race car for the street of anything else being currently made today. Now, you might be wondering, well, why not a 911 GT3? I mean, the GT3 and the GT3 RS are the cars that you see the most of. Well, admittedly, it's just because the GT3s are not fast enough. They're fantastic on the track, and they are quick cars. They still make like 500 horsepower. But unfortunately, in 458 Destroyer's garage, that's not quite enough. And a GT3 RS would be really, really cool. The problem is, ultimately, I really just still don't think that car would be quick enough in a straight line. It just doesn't make enough power. I hate to sound like that, but that's ultimately the reason why a GT3 RS isn't something that's really, really high on the list. And there's all those spy shots of a potential GT2 RS coming out. That could be a car that replaces the GT2 RS. And when I say this is the closest thing to a race car you can get, I really mean that. This car makes so many noises in here. The brakes make a ton of noise. You can hear all of the road noise from the tires. You can hear everything being thrown in the wheel wells. You've got this giant cage. There's like no insulation anywhere. Everything is very thin and very light. Every bump from the road comes through. It's not intolerable, but it is very, very, very rough. And even when you compare it to something like the 812 Competizione, which is a track-focused version of a Ferrari, this thing feels like you're actually getting into a race car, whereas the Competizione feels like you're getting into a really fast race car spaceship. Now, on to the reason why there aren't any more Porsches in 458 Destroyer's collection. And I've got to say, the answer is very important, but very simple as well. He just doesn't like Porsche that much. There's nothing against Porsche, really, but it's just not his favorite thing. And I think that's a really important point to make when talking about the car collection, because like I've said in every video so far, it's a personal car collection. It's something that every car is curated based on interest. And I think this is a philosophy that every car enthusiast should hold, is that if it's not a car you absolutely love, then don't buy it. And every car in 458 Destroyer's collection is there for a reason. There's a purpose there. And this car is in the collection because it assumes the role of track day car. This is the track day companion that you can just jump in, take to a track, rip, and come back home. Now, fortunately, we made it back to the garage in one piece, but I promise the next time we take the 2RS out, it will be in much better weather. These narrow back roads, as fun as they are in the dry, they are not so much fun in a GT2 RS with Cup 2R tires in the wet, in the cold, when it's like 45 degrees outside. If you're new, I want to say welcome, what's up? My name is Charlie. I help make content with the cars across the channel. Make sure you check out the Instagram and TikTok accounts as well. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I will catch you guys in the next one when the weather is much better.